Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the triumphant return of PM in the AM. That's right, your Sundays will never be the same again on It's a Wrap Sports. Here's your hosts, Pat Bernard and Mike Lauro. What's going on, boys?
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the PM and AM show where everything gets touched and exposed. I am your guy, and Mike, it's been 8 long months, sir, since you and I got to play together.
Yes, and just for that event, I got an extra large coffee because I already know how quick you're going to go off the rails here. So
Yes.
let's get back at it, Patrick. Al, so good to hear your voice, the voice of God, of course, as we affectionately call you. So, Pat, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, a couple things have been going on since since we got kind of back together. We don't have a Flyers head coach. Go figure. What else are we missing around here? The Sixers absolutely suck. You called it. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. You called that one. I think the city is now with you and what to trade Joel Embiid. I think you're right on that. There's been a lot of mislaps here as far as the winner, but we did win a Super Bowl, Mike, for the second time in our lifetime. So how do you feel?
I feel tremendous about that, and just the fact that you're giving me credit. This is why it's pouring outside.
Yes.
Al, you need to clip all this that Pat has been saying because, oh my God, did I get fought tooth and nail? Okay, when we were at EOP, everybody was against me. Yeah, Joe, I keep telling you. What's up, Adam? Good morning to you.
What's up, Adam? What's up, buddy? And I want to say
Hey, real quick, since we're giving Mike props, I have to give Mike props on one more thing. Not that I was really on our conversation to chat about, but I put it on my page to message. So Pat started it off. I'll say it as well. Mike, you were right about Joel Embiid as well. So there you go.
He's been right for the past 3 years. I just been denied.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
It is a shame. I this was one that I was hoping I was so wrong about with him. But you just seen it. But Pat, we got a baseball team in town, dude. And I'll tell you what, I'm starting to get a little fired up about this team. Okay, maybe not everybody, but I am.
Yeah, listen. First of all, before we get started, I want to thank all of our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and now TikTok. So if you are watching on TikTok, just go to my TikTok page. You can watch it. So we're getting people joining in. But yes, Cousin Steve said the boys are back. But yes, this Phillies team. You know what, Mike? Let's stop hugging each other. Let's stop touching the toes with our, touching the wood with our toes. Let's jump right in. Let's get right into this pool and talk about this red hot Phillies team.
Patrick.
Okay, yes.
Coffee rule. Coffee rule is a full cup. You know the rules. You got to be halfway down before we start going down that yellow brick road.
Well, let's not try and keep it. Let's try and keep it all the way spelled before we go halfway. No, I'm kidding. Let's get. But listen, you called something a few weeks back. You spot on about this. Aaron Nola cannot pitch in cold weather. He can only start pitching in warm weather. And last night, he pitches a gem, 8 Ks, 6 innings. This guy, Mike, through the rain, through the heat, this guy was looking great yesterday, getting a lot of the Diamondbacks to chase after those curveballs of his, really good with the cutter, really nice work in the top part of the strike zone. Mike, take it away. What did you see?
From what I seen last night, it's typical Aaron Nola. It really, truly is, man. Nola stinks at the beginning of the year, and then once the weather starts getting warmer, he starts getting a momentum and a tempo, and then he starts pitching to the Aaron Nola that we know of. Now, I will say this. In those 5 losses that he had, he has not been given a lot of run support either. Okay, so it's nice to see the Phillies bats come alive for him. And if you're taking a look at this, the last 2 teams that the Phillies have played, previous to them playing the Phillies, they played the Mets. Okay, Washington split 4. Joey Sullivan, what's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe Sullivan?
Yeah, make sure you check him out. He's got the Sully Squad, and also he's also doing his old school. If you didn't go check that out, go check that out. He had Farsi and Angelo Cataldi on there. Go check that out. That was very, very good, Joey. But thanks for checking in. Yeah, what I was saying with last night was you were definitely seeing how Nola starts to progress. You know what I mean? As they go forward. Again, this offense is starting to pick them up. Pat, my biggest thing is the bullpen's starting to look good. Which was once on shaky ground, now all of a sudden isn't so shaky anymore.
No, you're absolutely right. The Phillies bullpen had a huge red flag going across it. The Phillies bullpen last night started getting more answers than questions. It's starting to come alive yesterday. Like you just said, Nola gave you 6. You had Carlos Hernandez he gave up one blooper of a double run shot, but other than that, he was solid with 2 Ks. Then you had Tanner Banks coming in doing his thing, and then you had Joe in to seal the deal. So, like I said, the Phillies offense was really starting to click yesterday, and the pitching has been really solid. And I'm going to talk about the Phillies offense though, because Mike, you had the top part, other than Turner, it's been cold with the vet. It's been somewhat cold with Bryson Stott being the leadoff man. I don't know. The leadoff spot is getting a little too pressurized for him. I think maybe it's time, and probably a lot of people don't want to hear it, but maybe time to bump down, Stott, Bryce Harper, time to put them down into the, the lineup, because the meat of the lineup is starting to come around. You got Max Kepler, who made 2 back-to-back home runs, one on Friday night with inside pitch, one night. It doesn't matter where that ball is located in the strike zone. Max Kepler for this Phillies. You have JT Realmuto, who's been really, really hot. Again, Marcus is batting out of JT Realmuto, and that's what we want to see as well.
Yeah, I got to agree. I think Kepler's been really hot. It's nice to see JT. JT to me is streaky, because he'll go he'll go like this for about 2 weeks, and then he'll disappear for like a month. So I got to see a little longer from JT. I'm not ready to kick Bryson Stott out of the leadoff spot. I know he's been struggling a little bit, but you know what? He was probably one of the best. He's probably been the best hitter for the Phillies all year so far. So I'm not really worried about him. And Harper's going to get his numbers. So again, I'm going to leave that top of the lineup up there. I'll tell you what, the one thing I'm most impressive about is Kyle Schwarber, the way he's been able to produce it in the middle of that lineup. Schwarber, I think, to me, is having a really good year so far.
And hold on,
Schwarber has been
decent here real quick for a second, because Pat, I got to throw this at you. Man, one thing I got to say is you stay consistent. Your flip-flops, man, they are not staying in the closet anytime soon. It is beach weather 24/7 at the Bernard household with flip-flop weather going on. Because flip-flop. Here's my thing is, you're ready to shit on Bryson Stott already. Give him. I actually think he's been great there, and actually I'm pulling something up right now, and I wanted to check my numbers. In the last week, about a week ago, his numbers weren't bad. I mean, he's batting like a 300 in the leadoff spot. Now, he's had a couple games lately that have been a little bit of clunkers, but I mean, I'm going to say that it's probably going to wake the beast known as Matty B. Yes. But you're not going to have games where every time the leadoff hitter's on is hitting every game, but you hope to at least get on base somehow. Manufacture ways on. I like Bryson Stott at first at leadoff, and the biggest reason is outside even just the numbers, is that first part, the conversation of should it be Turner, should it be Schwarber, takes that right out the question right there. Number one, I think you're going to see Bryson Stott thrive there. I think he's born to do it. To be honest with you, like just made in this situation. Number two, you got Trey and you got Schwarber sandwiching Harper. They're not going to move Harper down. Let's just be honest with that. You're not moving your franchise player down in the lineup. It's just not. That's not what you do with him. If you're going to let Nick Castellanos battle it out and start him every game, you're not bumping Harper down. Is it right or wrong? I'm not here to debate that right this second. But you're not bumping Harper down. Schwarber's doing really well. Had a little bit of a cold streak last week or so. But like I said, I try to take baseball one week, 2 weeks at a time, not one game at a time. There's way too many games. But this team was cold for a little bit. But that's going to happen. It's going to be cold streaks with a team. It's how you overcome these cold streaks. And listen, ultimately, it's how and what you do come the playoffs. That's where we need to see the change happen. That's where you see, like I was said I did the post game show on Friday, right? And I said the same thing. I'm like, I'm not going to get excited, but I'm also not going to dump on this team when they're winning, because it's just like let's be excited for the moment, but let's see how they do in the postseason.
All right. You see, Al, this is where you really pinch the chest hairs. This is where you really grind my gears. And for anyone who's checking on TikTok, if you guys want to see what's going on, please subscribe to It's a Wrap Sports YouTube page to watch what's going on, what I'm dealing with between the headphones. I'm dealing with already. I need my blood pressure medicine going. No, listen. Al, this is where you say you're okay with Bryson Stott being the leadoff guy. Let me remind you, the Vegas boys are getting a little cold there. Stott 1 for 13. You have Bryce Harper 2 for 12. They're not producing. I'm not Harper. Trade Turner. I'm not Harper. Getting on Kyle Schwarber. I'm getting mad with the two. Your leadoff guy not producing, and Bryce Harper. Everywhere else in this lineup is taking care of itself. You know what I mean?
You killed Mike.
Yeah. Well, Mike needs more coffee. Can someone get Mike more coffee, please?
Dude, I got enough right here. I got a big boy because I had to be totally prepared for your idiocy this early this morning.
Yes. Well, idiocy is where I come from, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, we all know that.
We know this. No, Al, again, I feel like the more things change, the more things stay the same. Again, we are in agreement here. I like the fact that Bryson Stott's starting.
I'm going to call the mayor now.
Well, you better call somebody because, I'm being that serious. Like, the dude has proven he can lead off. And I'll tell you what, I think it takes pressure off of Trey Turner. If you're looking at 9-1-2, it's usually going to be Rojas, then Stott, then Turner. Like, dude, that's a lot of speed on the bases. And the Phillies have shown a thing for playing small ball this year. They don't do it often, but, dude, you are getting killed for your internet, man. They are just killing you today. Oh, man. But I want to talk more about – I'm going to talk more about this bullpen, Pat. This bullpen, holy cow. I like the turnaround of Romano. I think Romano's done a really great job.
I agree. I think Romano has been decent. Again, every time he takes the mound, it kind of scares you, but he's been decent in his last, his last appearance. And that's, listen, as long as all the holes are being filled, this team should be okay. Let's just, Aaron Nola gets his first win last night. He looked really sharp. Again, the weather is getting more, but Mike, here goes the big question for you. It's looking good now, but in hindsight, when the weather gets cold in October, does this mean that Aaron Nola is going to get cold? Can he stay in rhythm? That's the scary part about Aaron Nola.
Well, you can't really say that because the last 3 Octobers, Aaron Nola's been pretty good. So I just think it's him having.
Yes.
I told you, dude, they're coming for you.
Oh, yeah, listen. Dude, I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi today, bro.
Turn off the friend finder, Pat. Slowing your system down.
Something's getting slopped down.
Yeah. You guys can find him on Friend Finder at Blue Oyster Man 69.
Anyhow.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Dude, this is great. I love it. Give it to him, guys. Give it to him. I think it's great. But no. With Nola, he has a track record of doing this. That's why, like, when I see him start early on in the year, I know the bats ain't there, and he's probably going to pitch decent, but he's going to give up 1 or 2 home runs, and he's probably going to end up losing the game. So, to me, oh man, that's great. Pat's video looks and sounds like a hostage feed. Blink twice if you're safe. That's
Yeah, we're the ones taking hostage there, Broken Bell Network.
Yeah, we're the ones. But
here's my thing on Nolan, and I'll just tell you this much. I laugh at everybody in Philly sports for the most part on the Aaron Nola takes. If you can rewind backwards all you want, I remember how many people. Do you still hear my echo, Mike?
No,
okay.
not anymore.
Good.
How many people were over the Aaron Nola experiment? Aaron Nola is a number 2, which I'll agree with you. He's probably a 2, 1 on some leagues, but he's probably a 2, a 1B, whatever. But he's still really, 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 really good pitcher. And most of the 32 MLB teams, if not all of them, not just most, all those teams would take Aaron Nola on their pitching staff. And all we heard when he was here before he signed his contract of, I'm over it. Aaron Nola is not it, blah, blah, blah. The minute Aaron Nola could have left here and they signed him, everybody who had that same take, Pat Bernard, couldn't wait to get him signed back here. Aaron Nola is a really good pitcher. Give the man his flowers. Leave him alone. He's not costing us games at all. He's winning you games. Yes. Was he a little shaky in the beginning of the season? Sure. But guess what? I hate to break it to you. Almost every one of these pitchers, starting pitchers, even Zach Wheeler, was giving up home runs in games, 1, 2 home runs. There was a couple games where Aaron Nola would have loved to have the night off probably, but ultimately he makes this one of the top 5 rotations right now in baseball. It has to be top 5 rotations in baseball easily. And you can't sit here in hot water, warm, wet weather. It was raining last night, and all I saw on Twitter were D-backs fans complaining that game should have been delayed or postponed or whatever. Last time I checked, both teams were on the field. Both teams had a bat. Both teams had a play on the field all the time in the rain. It wasn't even that bad. Buck up. It's baseball. It's sports. You play in the rain. So Aaron Nola is probably coming in a stride. Some guys just take it. He is older. I mean, things might take a little longer. Go ahead. Throw up the excuse thing all you want. It ain't an excuse. It's facts, Pat. It's facts.
I did it because I agree with you mostly there, Al, but we cannot overlook what he has done in the beginning of seasons. He has been horrible. There's been times he's been good, but he's been horrible for the most part. Now, is it all his fault? No. As I stated, the Phillies really don't hit for him, especially early on in the season. I watched Aaron Nola just 2 years ago. Went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits. 2 of the 3 hits were home runs, and he turned around and he lost the game for nothing. Wow. So, yeah, I have that take, but no. But I will say this. When it starts heating up, oh, man, dude, does he comes out, man. When it gets hot out, that's where you appreciate Aaron Nola. You know what I mean? Because he's able to go and just throw it.
I am a Phillies fan, Adam. I mean, I'm just calling what I see. I'm just asking the big questions here. I mean, Nola does get cold come October time. Now, listen, he choked. It is what it is a couple of years back. And last year, it wasn't just him. So I'm not going to say he should be the whipping boy. It was just him last year. The offense got really cold. You know what I mean? But like I said, Mike, big picture, I'm just hoping he plays well. But no, it's however, look, they're getting a couple of wins. Usually the Diamondbacks had the Phillies number, and it's been better. It's been better that they've come around. It's been better they play against, they got the get right series against, Washington. They get right series against the Diamondbacks. They won 6 out of the last 7 games. The Phillies are now they're going to, the big question is, Mike, what's Ranger Suarez going to look like today after not playing since October 9th?
Well, he hasn't pitched in the majors since then. He's had a couple rehab tune-up starts where he's looked good. I think we're going to get typical Ranger. And I'll tell you what, going forward, I think the Phillies break out the brooms today on this Arizona club. You know what I mean? I really do. I think they're looking forward to getting back on that plane and going. I don't think they're going to be, worried about, coming on. I think they're already I guess, getaway, you could say. But I think Rangers going to be all right. And this is the question I asked you now, Pat. Going forward, what do you do about this rotation? Do you stick with a 5-man and pull somebody out? Because let's be honest, Taijuan Walker has not been an issue this year.
No, you're right. Yeah, I'm usually the guy who gets on top of Walker, but he's been decent. He's got some, he's worked on some things. He's made the right adjustments for the Phillies. Walker's looked good. Wheeler Dealer. Up until a few nights ago, I would say no would be the odd man out, but you can't say that. It's hard to place them right now. This is the hard question. What do you do with Ranger Suarez moving forward? Do you pull him to the bullpen? You can't do that. You would go with a 6-man rotation. I don't know. I mean, you can't get Luzardo. He's been your best pitcher. Between him and Wheeler, I don't know. I don't know where you can plug and play him right now.
I don't think they should go to a 6-man rotation. I really don't. I think, if anything, even though Taijuan's pitched well, I think you got to pull him back and put him and make him the long guy. And then now you have your starting rotation of Wheeler, Nola, Luzardo, Sanchez, and Suarez. I think if you have those 5 guys going out, you're going to have a really good chance to win. It's going to help out. I mean, I like what Taijuan Walker has done. I mean, he's kept them in games. I mean, the only problem with Taijuan is, he throws a lot of pitches over a short amount of time. He's not he's not a strikeout pitcher. So I would move him to the pen and just let him come out of the pen that way. And now you're lining up your best 5. And you also got to remember too, okay, Painter's coming. All right, he's already doing his rehab starts. He's going to AAA this week, so he's on the way. So that bodes me of going forward, one of those 5 pitchers ain't going to be there. And it's looking like Ranger might be getting dealt. So it's kind of important for him, I think, to come back and pitch well, because I think you can get something for Ranger, and then Painter's going to slide right in.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's not a bad move, to try to stall them off, but we just hope we get the same Ranger that we got the beginning of last year, where everything mentally and physically is there for him, and psychology, he's ready for the big movement. Philly Podcast says the Ranger to the bullpen. Wheeler is not allowed not allowed 6-man. Everyone is starting to click. Do not mess that up. And you know what's funny? Ranger, it's funny because the Pappernicks of the world, even our buddy Cowboy Dave chimed in last night while I was doing the Phillies postgame show. He was saying that Topper is going to mess things up. I don't know why Topper is the point the finger guy when everything goes wrong. I just don't understand, why do we need to lash out Topper when Topper is trying to make the best situation for everything? Would you agree?
Well, he's the whipping boy. When everything's going right, it's because of the team. When everything's going wrong, it's his fault. And when you're a manager, you sign up for that. I think I like Topper's even keel. Now, he has made some questionable, decisions. I mean, trust me and Mike Pappernick go back and forth every game about some of the stuff that he does. But all I'm saying is this. Right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Like right now, to me, if you have to, you already know you're going to have to pull. Somebody's going to have to leave this rotation, and the person I'm picking right now to pull this rotation is going to be Taiwan Walker. It's not because he didn't do a good job. It's just that your best chance to win is to have these five guys pitch. And when you're going Nola, or I'm sorry, you're going Wheeler, Nola, Lazardo, Sanchez, and then Suarez. That's a hell of a pitching rotation. It really is. And
yeah, here's my thing is I'm not out on the whole Rangers going to get dealt thing right away, because that's a bit of a risk on Andrew Painter. Like, and I'm very excited for Andrew Painter. I'm very excited. I still am high belief that Crawford is the Phillies' ultimate response at center field. I think they are giving Johan a chance. You're going to see. You saw what's his face? Brandon Marsh back last night. You saw. I think they're going to be on short leashes. I think you're going to see them, give them a small chance. If not, I wouldn't be surprised if one gets pushed back to the bench. Crawford comes up. Maybe they send Johan back down. I don't know. I mean, if they can at this point, whatever. And I think Justin Crawford will be the center fielder that they're going to try. They're going to be, I think mid-May, you're going to see Crawford come up somehow, some way, somehow. With Andrew Painter, I'm big on Painter, but I'm also being realistic here. Here's a guy coming off Tommy John. He probably won't be back until sometime after the All-Star break, I would have to imagine. And I just don't want to put all my eggs in that basket. So I don't think Ranger gets dealt unless he comes back before the All-Star break or right around that time, and he can pitch really well for the first few outings before they get to the trade deadline. But I just don't think Ranger gets dealt. If they're in contention, I think Ranger stays.
I don't know, man. To me, honestly, with this whole Phillies lineup, the guy who I'm clamoring for to bring up, Al, is Otto Kemp.
Yeah.
I want Otto Kemp up here because I feel like Otto Kemp being up here in this Phillies dugout puts a lot of pressure on Alec Boehm to get his shit together. Okay? Because to me, I feel like Boehm could be traded too. Because this kid you look at his numbers down over the past week, dude. The kid's got like 5 home runs.
Yeah, he is. Listen, he's raking. He is raking right now. And again, I like seeing it. It's not like the guys shouldn't be rewarded for what they do. But again, you have to send somebody down if you're going to bring this guy up. And there's guys that you might not be able to, that you're going to lose in the process if they're going to do it. Now, could you send Cal Stevenson down? Fine. And bring up Otto Kemp. I would like to see it, but at the same time, they got to get play time. And it doesn't do them any justice to bring them up here and ride the pine until they get some play time. And we all know it doesn't mean you're going to turn. It's going to, translate from minors to majors right away.
Right. And I'll tell you what, another one too is Racones Jr., Gabriel Racone. I would like to see them give him a shot. Like they got some players down there, which I feel as a Phillies fan, we haven't seen in a long time. And Al, I'm still hearing that echo.
Oh, let me find out what's going on. Give me 1 second.
What a terrible sign. My internet's breaking up. Al's got an echo. Sorry to all the fans who are watching from all over. But yes, continue to rip on me. I appreciate it. It makes me feel good and warm and fuzzy tonight. But no, listen. Like I said, Mike, we want to nitpick about the Phillies moving forward. I feel better than I did about a couple of weeks now. I feel better about the Phillies, moving forward. Again, you're going to be facing Tampa. Then you're going to get into a little, what you want to see. Again, an eye test, again, because they're going to be on the road for a little bit, going against Tampa, going against Cleveland. Some things are going to look good. But, Mike, I not to shift gears here, but I have to pick your mind on this NFL because I got to talk to you, my friend, because I was looking on NFL Fox Instagram page. You had the Eagles. I'm sorry, they have top 10 teams power rankings of the NFL. Do you want to hear them?
Sure.
Number 10. You ready for this? Hold your cheeks, because here it goes. Number 10, the Packers. This is the power rankings of who they thought did the best. Number 10, the Packers. Number 9, the Bucks. Number 8, the Chargers. Number 7, the Rams. Number 6, the Commanders. Number 5, the Chiefs. Number 4, the Ravens. Number 3, the Bills. Number 2, the Lions. And number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles.
So that's their official power rankings?
Those are official power rankings. They think the Eagles did the best according to the draft. Now, Mike, I got to ask, do you agree? Do you agree with, how do you grade Howie at the draft?
I got to give Howie a solid A. I'm not going to go A plus. I'm going to go A. I'm going to go A because I like their first 3 picks. Okay, you get a guy who is, they had him going top 15, Jahad Campbell. Now, again, it's kind of like the same thing with the Nakobe Dean. Okay, when he was coming out, with his injuries, he's healing from his shoulder. But when was the last? The Eagles didn't take a linebacker in the first round since 1979. I think I give him an A. But this is the first 3 picks, yeah. But this is where I give Howie an A at. Okay, he goes and gets Cameron Williams from Texas to play right guard. He also went and got Miles Hinton from Michigan. Okay, Both of these guys are going to be beast linemen once they get here. That's it. Those 2 right there. And I like the fact that they went out and they brought Kyle McCord home. I think Kyle McCord, which now kind of opens it up because they already have Dorial Green-Thompson, who's kind of very similar in traits to Jalen Hurts. The way they can plug him in and he can do the same things that Hurts does. Green's got a strong arm. He can throw it down the field. Okay. This gives them time to develop Kyle McCord going forward. So, to me, I think it was really good. Watch for Tanner McKee to get probably traded for some draft capital. If you look at this, man, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They got 10 draft picks this year. They got a boatload for next year. Okay. And they got all their stuff next year is all within the first 5 rounds. Like they literally have a pool of picks. So how he's doing is, I got to give him an A. I really do. I like the people, like the guys that they picked up. I will say this. The Mac McWilliams one, to me, holy cow, man. To me, him taking that cornerback there, I'm really starting to think right now that, Philly's starting to become a place where cornerbacks, not quarterbacks, cornerbacks want to.
Quarterback factory?
Yeah, we're going to be a cornerback factory too, because every year it seems like we're taking a pretty decent one. Mike Pepperton says Phillies are number 5 in odds to win the World Series, and the Braves, who are under 500, are 7th. That tells me the odds makers have no confidence in the Phillies. No, Mike, that just tells you that a whole lot of money went on the Braves in the beginning of the season, and now it's starting to wean off a little bit because I seen the Braves as high as 2 before the season started. So, but I can't wait to see what these guys come out and look. I actually think the steal of Howie's draft, honestly, Pat, is our 4th round selection of Ty Robinson.
100%. 100% could not agree more with this. He is, one of the big questions that was asked on this network and any other sports network, if you listen to it, is, what are they going to do? Who's going to fill in for the snap count misses that they lost in free agency? I think Ty Robinson has just got Philly printed across his forehead already. He was born and bred to play here in Philadelphia. He has the mentality, he has the skill set, and the fact that he fell to the 4th round makes me wonder, but also Howie tends to get lucky. His patience has paid off for him a lot over the last few years, and I think Ty Robinson may be the steal of the draft. If you wanted me to pick one again, and I'm going to invoke somebody I don't like invoking very much, but you can't. I'm the one that says it a lot too, so it's on me a little bit. But you can't really grade a draft now. You can't grade a draft next year, and you can't grade a draft 2-3 years from now. Until 2-3 years from now, because that's when you'll know if these guys hit. Because take Brandon Graham, one of the most celebrated Eagles right now. If you graded him in the first couple of years, he would have been graded a bust. So on paper, if you have to look at it, I think they did very well. A B plus. The only reason I wouldn't go towards an A is they kept trading out a lot, and I was a little confused because there's some guys really good known players still available, and they just kept trading backwards. Now they still picked up some extra Georgia players. Miles Hinton, we talked about, could be a great depth piece. I don't know if he's ever going to be a starter, but he's a big boy. And even our 6th round pick, Antoine Powell Ryland, he has abilities, man. He's a linebacker. He could fill in, as a depth piece. He'd probably be more of a special teamer in the beginning, but he could be a depth piece in the linebacker crew. So there is some guys who could even be 6th round picks. And that's the one thing I did like. You saw a lot of 6th round picks. There's really no 7th round picks, 5th round picks. There's some gold in their hills, as they will say. But we know, we got to be honest. They're not going to be striking on all cylinders. I don't think they trade Tanner McKee. I don't care how good anybody plays out, because they know how important a backup quarterback is, and you got no Kenny Pickett, and you have to be prepared for those type of things. And real quick, guys, I remind you that you're watching It's a Wrap Sports Network, and later today you'll get the trifecta here, the last game of the series. Hopefully it's a clean sweep, and Matty B gets you a clean sweep, and they'll give you a little down on the farm report. Talk a little further about Otto Kemp, Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, and all those other guys. Give you an update on Andrew Painter. All that kind of stuff you'll see about all the young and upcoming prospects down in Philly, in the Phillies minors. So check that out after today's game, depending if it gets delayed or rained or all that stuff with the way the weather's playing out today. Don't forget, Thursdays, you get more Pat Bernard, but Steve gets to babysit him on those days for the attacking third.
Yeah.
Talk Union soccer. Check it out. It's always a great time. And Sundays through Thursdays, it's his final word. I don't know if you call it the final word, but Matty B's final word, summing up that day and with the current ongoings in the Philly sports pantheon. So check all that out, guys, here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And let me hit some of these messages up.
Before we do that, I want to say, again, if you are, again, checking out, please, everyone on my TikTok, please go to the It's a Wrap Sports YouTube page. You can see what I'm dealing with between the headphones and talking now with please bless my soul, with Michael Arrow and Big Ass of Furious. Please to chime in. So guys, come on over, check out the whole webpage. Come to It's a Wrap Sports YouTube page and subscribe. It's all fun and free.
Well, actually, I could save them. I could save them a minute. You want to know what's going on between those headphones?
A lot of air.
It's just that little hamster running on the wheel, but the wheel's broken, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well,
wheel. It's the same wheel that's running his internet. Broken Bell say, but he wasn't always. People forget he lost his job twice. He learned a lot to do it well. Ty Robinson reminds me of Fred Robbins' era of the Giants. And Mike, he gets an A for the draft. Again,
wow, I'm never an A.
Here's my thing is, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. It's hard to judge a draft at this point. It really is. Like, on paper, if you're going by good picks, your needs, this draft was about depth in my eyes and just filling in some gaps that are going to be needed. And I think he hit all those chords. And let's be honest, if the Eagles didn't just win a Super Bowl, God knows how people would be grading this draft. I think there's a little biasy in all this, but hey, I'm okay. Like I said, on paper, I like all the areas that he hit. I mean, he got a linebacker in the first round, breaking another stride. A guy that had probably been drafted higher if it wasn't for injury. Same thing they did with Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter had some issues. He fell back. All they had to do is bop up one spot. Well, this guy fell back. They bopped up one spot, and bing, bang, boom. Here you go. They have a linebacker. Because let's not forget, we have some good linebackers right now, but one guy's hurt constantly. So you have to play that into consideration. So that's why I'm saying Antoine Powell-Ryland could be a good backup. You got other guy from Georgia, Moden, I think it is. Mondin.
Moden.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, so like look what the Eagles did, right? They lost a lot of depth on the defensive side of the ball, and how they quickly replaced it. I mean, again, go for linebackers, replacing the Milton Williams of the world, replacing the big plays. I mean, again, you go for a kid, Andrew Makupa from Texas. I mean, I think that was a solid pickup. So again, I think Howie's done a decent job, and if you recall, though, Howie was trying to move up in the draft to I think early 20s to trying to swap out with San Diego, and this kid Jahai Campbell just falls right to his lap. I mean, again, he really usually Howie likes to play chess. By all the GMs in the NFL are playing checkers. They don't have to do much. I think a lot of stuff just came to him.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sitting here, and you know what? And Al, I think you're going to agree with me too. Just Drew Kendall too, the kid from Boston College, the center guard that we got. Yes. I think he could be another underrated piece. Because the guy, he's versatile already. He can play guard and center. So I'm taking like Ty Robinson and Drew Kendall as like my two I think pieces that can really help out this team in the first year. I do like the Moden. I guess it's Michael Moden. I believe it's how it's
Mondin, but don't quote me.
Yeah. Well, it's Michael. I know his first name is Michael. That's how it's pronounced. But the kid from Georgia, I think too. Another thing that people I think are not really taking into accountability is when these guys are getting here, they are being surrounded with their former teammates. So they already know how these guys play. So all they got to do is really come and learn the defense. They know how the guys in front of them are going to play because they played with them or against them. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that Jahai Campbell's loving the fact that he's got two Bulldogs in front of him that can eat up some tackles. It's going to be able for him to flow. So, I like that. And Adam, to answer your question, I don't think he's here. I think they get rid of him before that. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going by the beginning of next month.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Dallas Goedert. They could just easily work him a deal out. They could let him go, bring him back on a more team-friendly deal. There's a lot of things they could do. We've seen them rehash guys' contracts constantly. I think at this, I mean, listen, you never know. With Howie, we've seen him make some big moves in May and June. So anything's possible. Do you think? I think he starts the season, yes.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret right now. If Nick Chubb is not signed by the start of training camp, he's going to come here and challenge A.J. Dillon for that backup spot. I got a feeling that the Birds are going to try and bring Nick Chubb in here. I don't know why, but I think it's a really weird that so far, like, this dude hasn't been picked up. The Browns rolled off of him, all right, and cut him. And he has yet to be picked up by anybody. And I could see Howie doing that, bringing him in to have him and A.J. Dillon battle it out in training camp. Like, stop and think about that. You get a backfield where I'm okay with A.J. Dillon, but if you can get Nick Chubb in here to go 1-2 with Saquon Barkley, Jesus God, the NFL will cry.
Yeah. Doge is taking over Pat's Wi-Fi. Dude,
Gosh,
Broken Bell, he's got zingers as long as the day. I love it. It's
hey,
easier to intake new information when you're familiar with your surroundings. Absolutely, Nooms. That's what Mike was saying. I agree. There's a plus. Listen, I always say there's a plus minus. A lot of people put a lot of stock in guys. Oh, they were friends. Who was it? Was it the safety they brought in that worked with? He was good friends with Quinyon.
Yeah, that's Mac McWilliams.
Yeah, so I get it. I get it, and those things are plus minuses for me. Like one thing for being friends, but I think there's a lot of credence when you got a young guy coming into the NFL who gets to work with players that he worked with already. That's a plus. That's a huge plus. So I agree with that. Friends thing, I take that with a grain of salt. But back to what you're saying is the Drew Kendall is a good pickup, I think. I mean, a 6'4", 300-pound center/guard. It's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, our line just keeps getting bigger, and his athleticism is pretty high on the charts. Not as high as you would hope. He might just be another good depth piece. They love those swing guys who could jump back and forth. Let's be honest. They just extended our Cam Jurgens, but Cam Jurgens is also coming off back surgery. So there is a lot of points that can be made here. But I'm looking at most of these guys, especially, from, pick number 5 down, as a lot more swing guys if they even make the team. And here we go. Remember I told you I was afraid of
yeah, you woke the beast.
The beast may be woken. Wow, not so you're saying the Eagles hit on all 10 picks. Well,
no, none of us said that they hit on all 10 picks.
Mayor Mayfield is in. I love it.
Homer Powers activate. I don't think does he just not listen? Does he hear one sentence at all?
Probably.
I mean,
well, he's a Howie. He's a Howie hater, so he's on that thing. So if we're giving Howie a good grade, it's like peeing in his coffee this morning.
Again, I
there's nothing wrong with that, Mike.
Actually, I said it to him earlier. I said you can't really grade a draft. It's really hard to grade a draft right after it happens. The only way you could grade a draft is based on players' abilities, what they were graded out to be, because you don't know if that grade holds up. It's not written in stone. But what he did was, in a strategic way, he's filled in gaps and he found depth where we need it. So far, if I'm going to give any grade, he did well there. Might give him a high grade. I'm giving him a B minus. That's where I'm at. I think they could have taken a couple less picks and got some guys that are higher up. I don't know. All right. Quote of the night, quote of the day, quote of the morning.
I'm done. I'm leaving after this one.
Pat's internet is powered by Joe Embiid's knee. That right there is unless something else comes back up, that is the quote of the day.
I apologize. Jeez. But listen, listen, if you're going to be, again, I'm excited for the Eagles and what they've done. To me, Howie, whether you don't know these guys from, if you're a casual college football guy, if you're in depth like Mike is, Mike knows what they've got in return here. So Mike could actually dissect whether it's an A, B, or C, or D, F. Mike says Mike likes it. Steve likes it. Steve is giving it a B for Howie Roseman's draft picks. I think he did well. But Mike, before we go any further, though, I want to shift gears a little bit more. Philadelphia Flyers don't have a head coach. They moved on from John Tortorella. One, what's your thoughts about the Flyers moving on from John Tortorella? And two, Mike Sullivan was out on the market, and the New York Rangers quickly picked him up. What's your thoughts? And do you want Rick Tocchet here?
Pat, to be honest with you, Mike Sullivan getting picked up by the Rangers, they kind of needed that. And he was available. So I mean, he's going to go there. They got a talented team.
But
up there.
when did Danny Breyer hop right on that off that man's resume?
Because maybe they ain't trying to hire him. Like, I mean, right now.
Maybe they did, and they just didn't want to pay the price. That's another thing to think about as well.
I mean, do you know what I would have done to bring that man in here? Do you know what I would have done? I mean, all that man.
Yes, we've heard about Wednesday nights at the Blue Oyster. We know what you would have done to that man.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I would rather go after a guy like Dan Bilesma, because Dan Bilesma got just as many cups as Mike Sullivan does. You know what I mean? He's a good coach. To be honest with you, I'd like to see them maybe give Brad Shaw a shot. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's going to come down to three guys. I think it's going to come down to Brad Shaw, Tockett, or maybe even Ian LaPerriere. They may move him up from Lehigh Valley. That's where I think they're going to stick in. That's just my belief. I don't think they're going to go outside the organization. The only thing that's kind of leading me towards Tockett is that he turned down Vancouver. So if he's turning down Vancouver, he's either going to one or two places. He's either coming here or going to Pittsburgh.
I don't want Tockett. I do not want Tockett.
Do you not want Tockett because he was a Flyer, or did you not want?
Yeah, because he's a former Flyer, and I'm done. I want again. I had Jordan Hall last week. I'd rather go with someone young, someone maybe from the college round. Allow players to make mistakes. I'm okay with if they go somewhere else. I do not want a retread head coach that used to work in this organization. I don't.
Okay.
I was okay.
So then you're wanting somebody like a Jay Woodcroft from he was with the Oilers. He was the head coach of the Oilers. Or you're talking about was it Pat Freitzweiler? He was Western Michigan's head coach. Like, so you want somebody like that to come in here. Me personally, I don't care. Like if they have former ties to the Flyers or not. Because if you're looking at Tockett's really made his bones as a head coach at other places. He was in Arizona. He was a head coach of Arizona. He's been in Vancouver. Vancouver's been a pretty good team. Okay, so he had to go make his bones somewhere else. Yeah, he's a former Flyer, but he's also a former Penguin. He's also a former
But he's not a winning head coach, Mike. I need a winning head coach. He's not a winning head coach. He's not. He's decent. Okay. He's okay. He's just a name coach. He's just a name guy that.
Okay, so when was my question to you was when was the last time Mike Sullivan won one?
He's got 16, 17. He's at 22.
That's 10 years ago, Pat. That's 9 years ago.
I got you.
It's 9 years ago.
Yeah, but Raiders quickly hopped on him. It's for a reason, because he's a plug-and-play winning outcome.
No, it's because the New York Rangers are morons. They will do anything to grab headlines.
That's what you call me a moron?
Always.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying the Rangers had to move fast. I'm sorry. I'm not worried about what the Rangers do. I'm worried about what the Flyers are doing. And right now, the Flyers got money, bad money that's got to come off the cap. Okay, right. They're going to be drafting probably fifth or higher. Okay, in this upcoming draft. This is what I'm looking for. Let us go and draft. Keep building this thing, and if they got to go and get somebody like Fleischweiler from Western Michigan, if they get him, or if they bring in Jay Woodcroft, I would be happy with that. You know what I'm saying?
Are you? I'm okay if John Cooper decides to part ways from Tampa. Does Dave Barrera get on that?
Maybe. I mean, dude, there's a lot of assistant head coaches that are out there looking. You got him. You also got the one guy. His name is slipping me right now, from Florida. The Florida bench coach. They're saying sometimes he would be Philly is sometimes a place where we pay head coaches to learn how to coach. Maybe Talk has learned from his mistakes. Hey, you know what? Maybe. You know what I mean? But, I would like to see them give LaPerriere a shot. Like, you're talking about a guy who has really kind of worked his way up. I mean, he's head coach, the Phantoms. I would love for Ian LaPerriere to come up and coach the Flyers.
Yeah, but Pat says he doesn't want former Flyers.
Well, too bad. Like, sometimes the best coach you have is the one that's right there in your farm system.
No. And listen, I'm not going to knock Perrier. Again, he's doing a great job with the fans. As a matter of fact, if you don't have plans tonight,
What's up, buddy?
I would say go out, go to Hershey, watch game 2 of the second round of the AHL playoffs between Hershey Sparks and the Phantoms, and enjoy yourself out there. That's a ticket tonight.
Yo, and I don't know, Pat, if you heard the news or not, but apparently,
No,
Carter
Steve,
Hart,
not yet. He's
did
no,
you hear about?
Steve.
Did you hear Carter Hart?
Yes.
Yes, and he's open to coming back here with the Flyers. I know they had to release him, but he's opening to coming back here. I would jump on that in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
Listen,
Steve,
I don't know. Is there
that's going to be
is there a
that's going to be some
distraction with that?
right. I was going to say that might be some shaky grounds going off of that. But hey, listen, that's going to be up to the organization whether they're going to be able to forgive and move on. If they are able to forgive and move on, despite how this season went with the goalie situation, I'd be more on the fence of them putting their arms wide open for Carter Hart. Listen, that's like I said, a lot of people, a lot of fans might say that's shaky grounds that you might not want to touch, but if it's, I don't know how they are going to address that. But like I said, the business is business at the end of the day, and despite how the season went, Sam Harrison, who I vouch for, he didn't live up to his part. He didn't live up to it. This was for him to show that he would be goalie number 1, and he didn't.
Well, I mean, to me, I just throw it out there. I could care either which way, but I mean, Matty actually kind of brings up a good point.
No, don't say that.
Oh, well, he does. Maybe Mike Sullivan didn't want to come here, Pat. I'm going to ask our Godfather here, Matty, like, who does he want to come in and coach this team? I don't know. I'm not sold on the whole Taka thing, but if they're willing to give Ian LaPerriere a chance, I wouldn't be against it. This is just a guy that, it's just basically, I would love to see him get a chance. I mean, here's a guy that's been putting his time in. He was a bench coach. Then they made him the head coach of their minor league team. He's putting the work in there. Like, I would love to see the Flyers give him a chance. Now, if they want to go outside, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting with the Flyers and how they're going to address it. It's, and Matty B may be right. This may not like. Matty B might be right because.
Can we stop saying that on the show?
Why? Well, I mean, it's true because like you think about Mike Sullivan, like maybe Mike Sullivan wants to go to a situation where a team's in a win kind of now mode. Rangers compared to the Flyers are in a better situation. And maybe that's where that's a better landing spot.
Listen, I kind of don't. I think guys who listen, just like a player's looking to win, they wouldn't want to come here. These coaches get fired. They want to start winning kind of right away. They're not looking to build, I think. They want to go to more of a win-ready team. Maybe an organization that's a little bit more prepared to be in that position. Because the Flyers aren't. I think we got some.
That's where, again, when will this team, though, be ready now?
Pat, that's the ultimate question right there. I think we got some fool's gold with a couple of years ago when the Flyers looked really good. Looked like they're going to make the playoffs, kind of pulled their heads out of their asses at the wrong time at the end of the season this year. And, got a little hype with the whole Mitch Koff thing. But this team is still maybe at best halfway there. And that's me being kind of, Homer positive there, as some people will call us.
That's okay. We're allowed to be homers. We're allowed to hang out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're.
But
I know.
I'm holding my coffee up right now. You just can't see it.
Yes. Okay. Well, a lot of things I can't. Never mind. But it's just to me. I'm tired of we're 2-3 years away. We're 2-3. Is this what they want to tell the Flyers? Is this what they want to tell Flyers fans that we're always 2-3 years away because they're never going to be? And I remember somebody saying, "Hey, like one of the media guys," and he asked Danny, "Well, like, when do we expect to start adding pieces to them selling every year?" And he said, "I don't know." Like that's not the answer I want to hear. It's not a
Well, listen, I'm not making excuses because I know this is what it's going to be sounding like, but I really think the Carter Hart situation set the organization back. I mean, we've always had a hard we've always had a hard time finding and keeping I have to delete that graphic. Finding and keeping good, consistent goalies. It's been difficult for years before the regime that's currently in there. Not that I would sit here and tell you that Carter Hart was the next, coming of Lindbergh or anything like that, but it's just he seemed like the best. We had a high ceiling with Carter Hart, but then I really think that set this organization back. Now you have to go to, you have to go and see it. You have to go and find that goalie, and they can't. And now you have to sit there and find and start over again. I think you're looking at what they did with the Sixers. They're just being quiet about it. The Sixers came out and straight told you, we are destroying everything. We are stockpiling lottery tickets. We are stockpiling assets, and then we're just going to sell and move and get more assets until we're ready to strike. That's what I think.
I think the big problem with the Flyers, and Mike's going to agree with this, unfortunately, is when they dealt Sean Walker. Like, after they moved on from Sean Walker, that defense took such a big hit. You could try and sell me the Russell Lyons of the world. You could try and sell me, the Travis Sanheins of the world. Those ain't NHL defensemen. I'm sorry. They're not selling me a bag of goods for those guys. You had Sean Walker, who was a proven commodity. You had Nick Seeler at the time taking pucks to the face and everywhere else on his body for goalies. It's just not the same. They don't have the same defense, and that's where the problem to me, their biggest weakness is a defenseman. They need to get NHL player defensemen, and I don't know this. And if the Flyers organization for years knows how to scout and pick one out.
Well, I think here's my thing is I think Torts, the way he went out, probably soured some people's thoughts about the Flyers as an organizational situation. Now, Torts is a hothead. We all know that. We knew that coming into it. We knew that going out of it. But I just don't know if they were on the same page, and maybe he feels like we do. Like, I do think they need some veteran presence here, some guys that are better. But do guys want to come here? Because the Flyers don't want to pay a ton of money for it, and I don't think that guys want to come here right now.
Well,
but there has to be a time for the old shit or get off the pot moment for the Flyers, and that's going to be the ultimate question. When does that happen?
Well, I'm going to tell you this now. It has nothing to do with the whole Carter Hart. Like, you can blame it for that year, but going forward, no. They've drafted five. I think they got 4 or 5 goaltenders in that time frame. You can only draft players, man. Like, they got to be able to come here and do what they need to do. So I'm not holding the Flyers. I'm not holding them saying for a lack of trying. They've drafted people to come here and play. You know what the Flyers need? They need a centerman. They need a scoring centerman for their top line. That's what they need, okay? They have defensive kids coming up, okay? We're going to have to learn to be patient and be patient with these young kids, okay? Yes, I'm sorry. Is Arison a number 1 goaltender? No, but he is right now, okay? And I feel like he was kind of forced into the thing with with Carter Hart. So I'm not worried about this, man. All I'm saying is this. There was a lot of bad contracts that they got to get rid of, and we knew this. Flyers management knows the team prints money in a dumb hockey town that still sells out for the product. I beg to differ there, Broken Bell, because if you've seen some of the Flyers games this year, they weren't sellouts. And I'm talking about, rivalry games You know what I'm saying? But going forward, man, I feel like they need to go ahead and try to get a top of the line scoring center. Like if you got to overpay for him, overpay for him. But they're going to be a lot better financially this offseason than they've been in the last 4 years. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff coming off their books. I mean, we won't have Cal Peterson making $5 million playing for the Phantoms. You know what I mean?
No, I expect, like I said, I think the Flyers will make some moves. I don't think they're going to make the biggest splashes of the world. They're going to continue to build within from the farm system. Again, the Michkov kind of prove you that he is Michkov, Konechny, Tippett, that's fine. Then you have to see what else do you really have. Do you believe in the Cam Yorks of the world? Do you believe in the Tyson Foster is going to elevate his game? That's where you got to go. And like you said, Mike, this is the perfect time to really scope out the Phantoms and start wanting to bring on talent.
Well, here's the thing, Pat. They have to, like, I believe in Cam York because watch how he played after Torts got fired. A lot of these guys played a lot better after Torts got fired. That says something to me there. I don't think it was just all on them. I think it was him too. I think it was more him. Like that. Hold on, man. That's Tortorella.
No, the internet.
That whole thing with Tortorella, dude. We knew that coming in. That's
why
I said that's why I didn't want him here because I felt like. But I will say this: I felt he did a decent job with this young team, but as it got towards the end, I think his philosophy and the front office philosophy didn't match up. That's why he was gone. But the players, look at the players when he left, because they played very well under Brad Shaw. Matter of fact, we were yelling at them because we thought they were going to lose their top 5 pick, which they possibly could.
Yeah, but Mike, you did bring us on because this was 3 years ago, you and I were scared of this is what we were going to get from Tortorella, the snarkiness, the snippiness, the hard-nosed coach that wants to take a dump on his players. You and I were afraid of this. And listen, he's been, for the most part, has been patient with his players. Now, I can't tell you what's been going on behind the scenes, but what I've seen on the ice and further on, I've seen a more mature and saddled coach until it came down towards the end. And the current got a little bit pushed back to where you get to see some of the issues were going on. I've heard about the rumors about Carter Hart, Cam York, and Torts having issues. How hard he was on Michkov this year, constantly benching him, unleash the dog out off of him, like all those things. So, they're going to need a coach that comes in here to really can transpire this game. But, man, at some point, it's just like you watched last night, though, right? You watched the Dallas Stars and the Avalanche game. And, my God, what a great game that was. I mean, look, I want to get to that level. And when can we do it? And just, if they can make the playoffs for 2015, 2016, if they can make the playoffs alone, I think a lot of Flyer fans will be happy. If they take another seat where they're not even close to the playoffs, I think a lot of people are going to start questioning Danny Briere hard.
All right, I gotta ask you a question. Did you say the 2015, 16? Because that was 10 years ago, dude.
2015, 2016.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, dummy.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was me.
Well, on that note, everybody, let me just remind you that today you got Matty B on the call for the Titans final today to hopefully watch the Phillies sweep the Diamondbacks. And I believe you also have them tonight for the final word with Matty B. So you get a double dose of the Mayfair monster while Pat tries to figure out what internet is. So
apparently Broken Bell says I got the meat sweats. I'm not even sweating. So it must be my lighting or something because I'm not even sweating over here, dude. But it's cool, though. If you're looking that close at me, man, I must look good.
Geez, here we go.
But listen,
that's the way Pat likes it.
Oh, well, listen, I got to ask you guys before we roll. It's game Diamondbacks. What's the meal of the day?
Al, you can go first on this one.
You know what? Actually, I haven't had one in a long time. I'm going to feel like I'm at the ballpark today. I'm going to grab a beer. I'm going to grab a hot dog. I want to have some hot dogs today.
Oh, you're going hot dogs.
Yeah, I know, Pat. Now, I chew mine and eat it slowly. I don't swallow them whole in one piece.
Nothing wrong. Was it the $5 deals for the hot dog? You could just take them down. And, yeah.
You do that very well, buddy. You do that very well. But you know what, Al? I'm kind of right on the same boat with you, but I'm not going to do hot dogs. I think I'm going to go get hot sausages. Throw them in the air fryer. Get ready to watch this game today. And then that's it, man. That's what I'm doing today. Pat, let me guess. You're doing pasta today?
No, Mike. I'm going to go a little outside the realm. I'm going to do lasagna. So,
oh, my God.
Well, man.
I honestly thought we were going to go through this whole show without Pat setting me off. And there we go. The final, the last swing of the bat at the end of this game here. He sits there and tells me, no, guys, no. Hold the phone for a second. I'm not going to do pasta. I'm really going to throw you guys a curveball that's not pasta related, and I'm going to have lasagna.
Right. Now everybody in the world knows what I have to deal with on a weekly basis. I'm just saying. Right? Yeah.
Bonjour.
Yeah. Thank you. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone who's commented to the program. Again, to the Facebook world, YouTube world, Twitter world, TikTok world. We appreciate you. Hit like, subscribe to It's a Wrap Sports. It's free. You can hang out with Mike. You can hang out with Al. You can hang out with Steve Fuentes, the mayor, Mayfair, and your boy Pat Bedard. You can hang out with all.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Yes, speaking, I got to call him out on this. I got to do this. I got to do it. I'm sorry. He's in the chat somewhere here. Steve, are you still there? I'm going to give him 30 seconds to respond. Steve, tell me you're still here, because I need to ask him something. Because either one of us has been saying it wrong the whole time. Either his sidekick, Pat Bernard, who's been saying his name wrong, because apparently pronouncing names wrong, that's a thing.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Steve Fuentes or Finentes, according to Pat Bearsnard over here. I just need to make sure who's saying it right. Is it Al Fuentes or Pat Finentes? Because I need to know. He hasn't got it right once. Not once.
Listen,
yes, even Broken Bell is telling you it's Fuentes.
Well, here's the best part. My accent's a little different.
Yeah, your accent's nuts, dude, because you've been calling me Laro for years, and it's Laro. So, I mean, your tongue, this is what happens when your tongue and head play Marco Polo. Right there.
Yes, my brain and my tongue just play Marco Polo.
That's why the guys at the Blue Oyster love him. His tongue gets all twisted.
The Blue, they call him Patty Swirl Tongue at the Blue Oyster.
I never correct because I find it hilarious and to keep the bit going. Sorry, I had to break it, but Steve, I'm sitting. I'm like, me and Mike were watching it one day. We were together doing stuff, watching the draft together, and there, we saw that we came by the video and we played it. And we just started cracking up. I'm like, how long has he been working with Steve? And he's still.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right, there you go. There is that is where we're gonna end it. Right there, we're gonna end it. His internet keeps up with his brain power. Yes. Guys, on behalf of Mike Laro, Pat Barsnard, and myself, Al Zafiri. You've watched PM and AM. Check it out again next Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. You've seen all the stuff running down here, and check it out later today with Matty B. I'm sure he's going to be very positive. Sunshine and rainbows, Matty B is what we call him. So that's what it's always raining in Mayfair, I guess. It's always scary in Mayfair. So other than that, guys, have a great night and enjoy your Sunday.
All right, guys. Peace.